Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. We're doing a live react because we have extended downtime, and it's an 8-minute video, so I figure why not? We're going to check out a video by GX Clyde about the loot problem within Court of Blades, or the Court of Oryx remake, and so far I'm not impressed. I think it's a waste of time. Unfortunately, it has some really good weapons to chase for, or some fun weapons. You're better off, honestly, just using your tome, and that's my opinion. But let's see what Clyde has to say.
Gamers, it's been a fun first week of Act 2, and since it's only going for 3 weeks, like, I just feel like something needs to be addressed here. I feel like we are just doing Court of Oryx, and we're doing Guardian games just to fill in for Act 3 to start, but yeah, I'm kind of confused with this whole loot system.
I would say that if you took away Guardian games, which is a free non-seasonal activity, it's a yearly activity, it's a yearly event, it's always going to come back. It's masking the fact that there really isn't much going on for Act 2. There really wasn't much going on for Act 1 outside of the exotic mission, which does add some beef to it. But when you really look at Court of Oryx, or Blade of Oryx, or whatever, there's only like 3 rotations of it, it feels like. And there's not a lot going on with it. It's pretty miserable of like I don't know. I'm just not impressed.
For the Court of Blades, I just did a whole day of grinding it, streaming it, playing it, just trying to study the loot and being like, what's the purpose of grinding this? Like, is there a purpose to grind the Court of Blades? Are the weapons good? Is it worth it? Now, I did want to get an SMG that had overflow sword logic.
That's what I'm chasing.
Over, so you can get like 142 bullets in a mag. Now, there's other SMGs in the game that are pretty much just as good as this, if not better, but runneth over is just cool, and plus it's a cool feeling knowing you're grinding for like the shinies, because they come with,
and also the SMG looks really badass. Like, it is a cool looking SMG,
quad perks, and we all know this is just strictly a farming simulator. But before I even get into the loot, you're kind of in a bind. You're already in a 1 in 4 chance of getting a bad roll, and let me tell you why. One, your submachine gun just drops normal with this 3 perks up top. That's just a normal drop, no masterwork, no nothing. So that's loot pool number 1. Loot pool number 2 is 4 perks with run over. It's masterwork, it's a shiny, but it's poop loot. Now, since you're doing expert, you get an adept to drop. It has, let's just say you wanted this roll, but guess what? It doesn't have runneth over. So now you have to grind for an adept that has runneth over here and 4 perks. So it's a 1 in 4 chance of getting something decent, and then you have to go into the odds of getting the roll you want. I've been asking people all day in stream, have they got good rolls?
I think this was a big mistake. This has only made people want crafting back more than ever. I do not understand why Bungie has decided, hey, we're gonna do Into the Light, but make it fucking worse. I think people were more accepting of Into Light because when you got the shiny version, you got the double perks. Well, they did adepts. The adepts should always, if you look at raids, they get double perks. When you look at GMs, they get double perks, or at least one slot gets double perks, which should have been the bare fucking minimum for the adepts for this seasonal content. Is it should have had at least 1 extra perk, and then if you get the shiny version, you get the double on both sides, and you get the trait. But it is so bad that Bungie advertised the shiny as adept. That's what they did. They advertised the shinies as adept, and they did it. It was very deceitful. It was very baity. Like, ooh, you guys, those out there that want something to chase, buy this content. It was very deceitful, and I will say it, and again in my review, it is fucking deceitful. And that's all I gotta say.
They got decent rolls. Enough. So I do a whole run. I kill all 13 bosses. If you run triple microcosm, it melts all the bosses pretty much. Or you can do like triple 1K. Pretty much just run some meta builds, and you'll kill all 13 bosses with a few minutes left. I noticed sometimes I would only get like 1 weapon to drop at the end for killing all 13 bosses.
Even on expert.
When you're in this activity, your Tome of Want completes very quickly. So it's like they want you to pop this in the Court of Blades to get more of these drops. But to me, I feel like that's not fair, because you're getting drops from this. You're not getting...
Yeah, but and here's the problem with the Tomb of Want. You need the desires, and if you want to focus specific weapons, you need sigils. So it's double dipping on how much resources you need, which then you have to go play the Nether and then come back here. It's like, bitch, reward me for my time.
Drops from the activity. You go do nether, you get spoiled with loot. And now I know you're probably like, Clyde, you're yapping about all these guns that don't even matter. I mean, it's true. You don't need to grind for the bow, because if you just go look at your season pass,
it's true.
The perfect role for the bow is in here.
Yeah, Dragonfly destabilizing rounds.
Destabilizing, and you even get draw time.
Yeah.
So the bow's out. And then we're like, well, why grind the submachine gun when you can? And you're probably asking like, well, Clyde, why grind for this submachine gun when I got like something from Salvation's Edge and I have that?
I do have the God Roll Salvation's Edge SMG. It just looks like ass.
Crafted. Well, not everybody has the Salvation's Edge Strand SMG, but also this is kind of different because of the runneth over perk.
Yeah.
And it does get the overflow, so you can get that 140 bullet magazine. Now I know SMGs aren't that good in endgame. They're only used for certain purposes. There's probably only like two, you know, the one with kinetic tremors, but the whole purpose is, you know, you move down to the sidearm. You really want the sidearm? Not really.
Sidearm, yes.
Moves us to the psycho pump.
Bullshot.
Everyone's grinding for that ambitious rolling storm roll. Again, I haven't even got this to drop. Again, it's a lot of repetitive, same old stuff. I'm not saying that the weighted perks are still a thing, but man, oh man, I feel
it does feel like it
really drops bad combinations just to keep you playing. I know we can't prove that, but I did end up getting.
I think Moxie, the guy that was helping the community figure it out, I think he showed that it feels like you can look that there is a slight pattern still there just for certain weapons. It's not enough to point like, haha, they're doing it. And it's not like conclusive, but there's been he's alluded that there's some possible, like, it feels like there is still a slight pattern, but not to the degree that there was. And it's not enough to say, hey, they're doing it. There's not enough conclusive data
to drop, and it did have rolling storm, but guess what? No runneth over and know what you want. It takes me down to the purpose of what's the point, you know?
Yep.
And I know this doesn't matter because we're like, it's something stupid to not even talk about. You're like, well, Clyde, in 2 weeks, we're not going to be doing this. We're going to be doing Act 3 stuff. It's the point of
Act 3 is a Grandmaster, by the way. It's a GM, it's a Nightfall, Battleground, whatever. And that's all we're going to have because all the weapons are already out. They released all the weapons ahead of time for Act 2, which I'm glad they did, by the way. Because Act 3, you're going to be doing a Nightfall, returning Nightfall, but that isn't the beef. They're using the free events to kind of pad the time into July. And there was also other leaks that we might be getting other events too. But Rides of the Nine is like the big free event that's coming out, kind of like Into the Light 2.0. That is kind of Bungie's way of buffering the seasonal content, even though it isn't seasonal content.
Still crap, you know, like why should this stuff be incorporated into the game when it's wasted resources? And I know that's a little rough, but I mean, that's kind of where we're at. We can't just keep putting a band-aid on all the content until something good comes out. You know, Act 3, sure, we're getting those 3 dungeons. We already got a taste on Tuesday. You know, they launched earlier with contest. That's not content.
Again, that is free content. It is not part of the season. Just like Into the Light wasn't part of Season of the Wish. No one's like, man, I really loved Season of the Wish because Into the Light. No, Into the Light was its own thing. Let's just get that clear. Season of Heresy is its own thing. Rights of the Nine is going to be its own thing. People who, you don't have to buy Heresy to enjoy those dungeons. That's the whole purpose of those events.
Content, like you're going to run them a few times. You're going to help your friends get them. I can stream and I can help people through it a couple times.
I'll be doing it.
Actual content. It's for them to test out contest mode and not swap and do other stuff. Which
yeah,
is cool,
it's
if you're gonna add stuff like this.
It is very true. He's actually spitting facts. It's kind of like a beta test for Bungie. We are beta testers, but it's free content, and I think here's my take. I think that's great. If Bungie wants to use free events to beta test stuff, that's great. I don't want to have to pay to be a beta tester, though. I think that's bullshit. Like, seasonal content should not be where you beta test shit. Do free events, whether it's big or small, free events, test the waters. If it's free, I don't care. I'm okay with being a free beta tester for free content, especially if I could get to keep the new guns. That's great.
there needs to be loot incentive. And it always reminds me of, man, when I did Nether, I got a whole bunch of loot. When you're in Nether and you're doing the expert, you're actually running through it, opening chests and defeating the boss.
Why? I don't understand. Can we just stop? I know he's talking, but like, why does Bungie put so many shitty perks in guns? Like, no one's using offhand strike. Who the fuck is using offhand strike? And relentless, like, you had to kill a bunch of trash ads to even get this to proc. On an SMG, like, you'll never use this, especially in-game content. It's not like you're going to be blowing. If it had like a destabilizing rounds for like unraveling rounds, like it made an explosion every time you killed something, like, sure, then you would say, yeah, unrelenting would be great, but it's ass. Like, I don't understand how Bungie murders certain guns. Like, Seas of the Rival weapons, most of those are ass compared to what we already have in the game. And it's also because the perk selection just murders them. I personally don't understand why they would release content for it to just, or guns for it to die. It feels like they're just throwing guns out there just to throw them out there.
Bosses, I felt like my inventory would get full so quick, but with Court of Blades, it's not that. Like, I feel like I get no loot if I don't have this activated. If I don't have Tome of One activated, I feel like I'm not getting much loot. And let's not talk about the repetition that you have to do.
Yeah, Jesus.
Vendor, just to level these up, there's not one vendor that needs to go to max, but there's two. You know, this is my second one. I'm a reputation rank 10. And I'm almost at full, almost full on both. But again,
I'm not.
The community to do this and level this up. Boy, oh boy, do we miss that Golgi cheese where we could just go in there and just get our rep all the way to max, because you need to get to 12 just for the exotic SMG. Again, to me, I feel like the loot is lackluster. And I know this might not be a big deal to people. It's just that I just want to see everything do good for this game. I don't want people to sign on and go, what's the point of grinding that activity? I don't need any loot from it, because it's true. Come Frontiers, we're going to be switching over to all new loot. So all the stuff that you're farming right now,
all new loot. I will wait. I will wait on that statement to be a reality, because I have no faith that we're going to get all new loot.
Probably doesn't make sense. You just want the game to do good, so everybody in the community is doing good. Everyone's having a good time, and we get that mojo back that we've always loved and played.
I think, and I'm stopping a lot at the end, I think he's absolutely correct. We're getting he's giving criticism, I'm getting criticism, because we want the game to be successful. The only one who doesn't seem like they want the game to be successful is Bungie themselves. Like, we want to chase loot. We want the loot chase. There's good loot, which they've proven that they can do. They've proven they can make good loot and make it worth chasing, and the content that you're chasing. But then they make the same mistakes like they've done in the past, like Contest of Elders. The problem that wasn't fun or good. It was the fact that the loot wasn't worth it. There was no good loot. It was just ass. And so no one wants to do that content because the loot is just garbage. And now they're doing the same problem, but instead of making like the loot worth it, they're making it to where you're just not rewarded enough.
For the last 10 years, you know, just getting that feeling back of like, man, I got that thing to drop. It's a good feeling, you know. All I wanted to yap is for the loot. See how you guys felt.
I felt that way with the LMG with the double perks. When I got the runneth over, eddy current, and jolting feedback, I was so excited to see it drop. And then when I got the Abyssal's Edge with redirection and flash counter, I was so happy to see it, dude. That it has been like, regardless of what I have criticisms for this episode, the loot itself has been a breath of fresh air for me, because I'm actually excited for some of these drops.
On the Court of Blades, is it worth doing? Is it not? But I really feel like they could have switched the system up. Hopefully this implements in future content and this doesn't happen again, because
I would hold my breath.
I feel like the weighted perk era has been hitting us hard. I don't think it's fixed, and I feel like they're just putting stuff in the game to encourage us to not get what we want. I don't say I want crafting, because I hate crafting. I don't want to be able to craft certain weapons. I just want to have fun while I'm grinding the weapons. Another reason why this is important, when we're farming Right of the Nine and we're doing those dungeons and we're being able to focus those weapons that they showed us in the Vidoc, what if we'd run into the same issue here? We just feel like the RNG of getting what you want and
Whoa!
shinies or not shinies, just isn't there. It's just gonna kill the vibe. Thanks for listening to my yap session. Oh wait,
Not get.
Yo,
what?
I got it.
What do you mean you got it?
Inspect.
Oh man.
Should we tell him?
Should we tell him what?
What a fucking bozo! Wrong perk, idiot.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no.
God damn.
By the way, I do have the same role he has. I was so pissed. I was like, man, I want sword logic.
Nice one, dumbass.
Nah, fuck this game. I'm out.
Dude, that's a feels bad. God dang.
Sword logic, buddy.
Nah, you don't want sword logic on that.
No, you want sword logic.
The fucking excitement of him getting it. Yo, I shit
That's a
on
feels
that
bad.
parade.
That's a feels bad.
Doesn't pay attention to the sponsorship because they're like,
Oh!
hold on a second. I just got a shiny mirror and I'll shove it up my ass right now.
Oh no. Oh
I'll
no!
shove this up my ass right now. Literally,
Why?
no lube, sideways.
Oh
What am I
no.
looking at? It's the first one today, and it's dog shit.
Oh no. Sword logic is meh. Sword logic is what? 25% damage when you get ×2, and it's the best damage perk for this SMG. That's the unfortunate part, right? That's the
Anyways,
only good perk on that gun. Yeah, that's the only good perk on that gun is that right there. All right, well, yeah. Link, I'm gonna go ahead and let's see if copy. Lol. Anyways, check out the link down below in the video. I'll be posting this for you, your beautiful faces. Chat's been kind of talking on the side for your beautiful faces. Again, I agree. Core to Oryx is rough. It feels pretty mid. The loot that's not like it's overly, like I said, the bow, the best perks combination is in the battle pass for some reason. The SMG only has one really good combination. Outside of that, they really just did it a disservice. Glaive is, if you like glaives, if you don't, then it's whatever. The fusion rifle's pretty mid. The sidearm has volt shot. It is probably one of the best things to chase, in my opinion, because it actually has some good rolls. But I mean, I like Court of Blades. It is a challenge even on expert, but the loot just doesn't justify the time you spend. In fact, before we end the video, people have found the method of just farming the first encounter. They're AFKing for 10 minutes, beating the first boss, and then they're getting about like one or two drops, and they have a chance of getting an adept out of it. Like, it's like, what? Yeah, people would rather just AFK, like go, watch a movie or anime for 10 minutes, kill the first boss, get your free loot drop. Because what's funny is that you doing one boss versus 13, you only get like one or two extra weapons for doing full 13 versus the one boss, you're guaranteed one weapon. What? So people are just AFK farming on expert, and they're getting adepts from that. It doesn't make sense to me. And he's right. I think Bungie 1 used the Tomb of Want, which I think is stupid. You should not have, the mechanics shouldn't be based on the Tomb of Want to get rewards. It should be rewarding on its own. And then the Tomb of Want, just like doing the Nether, you get these extra drops as you're playing. Like, it should be raining loot like it does in Trials of Osiris when you get flawless or you get the double loot drop and it's just spewing out loot. That's how it should be. People love that. That is addictive. It gives someone you get all 13 on platinum and get platinum. It should rain loot. It should be the incentive of, hey, you did this thing, you did it on expert. Here's all this juicy stuff. I don't know. That's my thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I agree with GS Clyde. I'm just gonna call him Clyde. Clyde, I absolutely agree with him, and I respect him because he's another person that he's a Destiny content streamer, one of the older ones who've been going around, but he's brutally honest and he will say almost exactly what I say, and so respect to him. Respect for him to just not go along with the same water that everyone else is treading. He's not afraid to say what everyone's saying. He wants the game to improve. I want the game to improve. And so I think we're on the same path when we talk about Destiny. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. And as always, let me know what you think down below. Huzzah!